My name is Natalie and I have an interview with the main frontman of the band, Murder FM, on April 22nd, 2013. First off, can you tell me what type of band are you guys?
Quite possibly the greatest band on earth is what we are. I'm kidding. No, we're a dark rock band. Like I'm so tired of so many genres and subgenres, and I know it's even cliche to say, I'm tired of people putting titles and things on things, but it really is. I mean, we're a dark rock band, too. We're not a core anything. We're not an artsy anything. We didn't reinvent the wheel in any way, shape, or form. We just put our own rims on it. It's we're a dark rock band, dude. I saw Kiss when I was 4, and gravitated toward the dark side with Motley Crue, then gravitated toward the raunchy side thanks to Guns N' Roses, and then just kept it dark from there, It was heavily influenced by Nine Inch Nails and Depeche Mode and the Cult. I mean, the Cure, they kind of showed me that all your lyrics didn't have to be about partying, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we're just a dark rock band.
Great. Can you please give me a brief history of your band and its members?
Sure. What would you like to know? How about that question?
I guess a brief summary as to when you guys formed, and I don't know, who's part of the band nowadays?
You like that? Now I'm interviewing you, Natalie. Why don't you ask me these questions? No, I'm kidding. Let's see. We got together pretty early in 2009. Our bassist J6 and I had been kicking around the idea of putting Murder FM together for a while. I was in my band Never Enough with Keith and Trevor from 18 Visions, who now, Keith was in also in Throwdown, and Trevor is in Call Me Christ, and we love to play, so we were in a million projects all the time, going through Warped Tour, going through it wasn't a good or bad deal, it was just a hard time deal that we had with Koch turning over to E1, the label that we were signed, and just all kinds of crazy stuff, so I was really frustrated. And Jay was coming out of a frustrating situation as well. And so we had been toying about it, but we both had our bands going on. So I started writing material with Bo Hill, who worked on our Never Enough CD, and Bo's produced some huge artists like Rat, Alice Cooper, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, started Interscope Records. He actually came up with the idea that maybe I should write the material and then just put the live band together, and then let us kind of organically grow and morph into what Murder FM is now, but just to get off the ground, because we were getting a good buzz with Never Enough, so J6 and I we slap it together. We more turned up the heat on it. And Jay came up with the name. I morphed it up a little bit into its meaning. It's still only the OG fans know. And we picked up Matt from another band in El Paso, where we're from, hometown was, that I had produced his band's record. We picked him up out of the band. And then down the line, got another guy from El Paso, Brandon Arpin, to be our drummer, who replaced our original drummer, and just kind of morphed into who we are now. Now, we had a lot of cool opportunities out the gate. Our first show was opening for The Used, played the Whiskey in Hollywood, and jumped on the road with Dope, and then Korn. I'm so confused on all the bands we played with. Yeah, with Dope to Korn, yeah, then The Used and the Whiskey. And it was just full throttle from then on, and we never really let off the gas. Walked into a distro deal with Century Media and a deal with Glasstone Records in Europe. Released our first one, Anthems, for The Used, and just, I've just been pushing it since.
Great to hear. You mentioned that you had came up with the band's name or meaning behind it. Can you tell me about that? How did the band's name, come to be, and what does it mean exactly?
Well, Jay had come up with the name Murder FM, and I was like, that sounds cool. I was like, but I think we need to have some sort of deeper meaning behind it. You know, I was like, because it sounds cool, but I love when bands have a real good meaning, like, oh, yeah, something that the audience can believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really kind of over where music was at that time. So I said, you know what, wouldn't it be great if we called our band, like, MFM, more like Murder Fucking Music? I was like, well, that might not be marketable. I guess we'll stick it in the MFM, Murder FM thing, but I was just so over, like, what was happening at radio. I was so over, like, all these, like I told you earlier, subgenres and this and core this and blah, blah, blah. This. It was just like, I just want to kill everything. And so, I mean, it's a pretty simple meaning. It's nothing deep, but, I mean, there is more to it, you know, at times for us. And a lot of it stemming from just our frustration and our own, like, inner struggles with the business. It's like artists and stuff and the politics that go behind it and the popularity sort of contests. And, you know, it's like, man, what happened to, like, music just being, like, awesome and real and cool, and you love the band because you love the band, and that was that, you know. It's like we were on our own little mission to kind of, like, bring that sort of connection and integrity back to it in whatever small and tiny way we could, you know. So there was, even with the name, it kind of falls into our mission statement. It's like, when you and I spoke earlier, I don't do things even if we need them, if I don't feel them. It's like I'm not going to pour myself out, I guess, in that sense, just to get my band further. Like, if it takes me a little bit longer to get there, cool. Like, we're going to do things, like, on our time, on our dime, and, like, the way that we want to do them, because we're going to, at some point, it'll spiral out of control for us that, you know, we can't do it. But, you know, at least in the time that we can, while we're on our way up the ladder, it's like, we're going to climb the ladder the way we want to climb the ladder. You know, so it's kind of like, you know, living life your way. That's the whole meaning behind our band.
Great. How would you describe your style and what bands have influenced your music?
I'd like to say haunted at times, you know, depending on what time of day or night you're listening to it. Definitely to the point. I mean, I'm not a guy that likes to write these long, you know, epic 9-minute songs. I mean, I wish I could. It'd be awesome. But, you know, write my own November Rain. But I'm a pretty to the point, like, kind of guy, and so I write the same way. There's not a lot of fluff around stuff. So it's just, you know, a dark, sleek, something rock band. It's no frills, you know. It's what you see is what you get, and, like, it's pretty aggressive in its own way. And when you see the band live, I think you get a better understanding of that, you know, because the recordings are cool. Everything we released so far is pretty cool, but kind of like, you know, my heroes like Kiss. I don't think you ever really get the full feeling of what Murder FM is about till you see the band live and experience that live, because it's just a whole nother, like, level for us. It really is. You know, and we're lucky. Some bands sound great on record, and then you see them live and you're like, oh my God, that's atrocious, you know?
Yeah.
we were blessed. We were cursed and blessed at the same time. It's like, we sound cool on record, but we're even way cooler live. The hard part is you have to get there to see us. So until you get there to see us, it's very hard to make you a believer of that too, you know?
What lyrical theme do you guys use in your music, and what message do you want to send out?
Let's see. I'd say a lot of our stuff is pretty, I don't know, would protagonist be the right word to use? Because we're very passive-aggressive in some things, very antagonistic. But, you know, I like to poke at things. I like to poke at topics. I like to poke at ideas and concepts, and kind of we're not a thinking band. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, we're balls out. But, I mean, I like to kind of push the envelope on some things. Like, I'll think about something that maybe happened personally in my life. But I don't want it to be too introverted, because I don't want everyone to know everything about me. So I'll start to run the story a little bit, or push it a little further, get a little weirder, you know. And we would hit with our single Twisted Love Story. That was actually like the first song. It was just a complete, like, fictional story you know, because I was like, yeah, my whole thing was, those two guys are stalkers, and guys are weird, and girls are always complaining about guys, I was like, you know, I've met some crazy chicks in my time, and I think we need to address this to the dudes, you know? And I was watching Dexter or something, that's like my favorite show. And, you know, I was like, wouldn't this be really cool if, like, the turn of the story was that the girl was actually, like, the crazy killer one, and, like, instead of killing the boyfriend she had, the boyfriend killed the girlfriend, and then, you know, kind of took it to a whole other level. A whole, if I can't have you, no one can thing.
Yeah.
So that was a real big thing for me to be fictional. I mean, a lot of the stuff started being personal, but like I said, I don't want to let too much of my own internal feelings and things pop out, because I think that lyrics today, too, have become very narcissistic in a way. It's all I, and me. Mm-hmm. Like, what happened to the we? What happened to, like, you know, being a singer and a vocalist and a lyricist and a writer? You know, you have responsibility to be the voice for people that don't have that opportunity. And that's where we morphed into the song, like our new single, We the Evil, coming off the whole saying, we the people. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like, dude, what about the dark side of things? What about us? We can still be positive and awesome and aggressive and cool, but it's like, you know, there's still a little evil side to us all. So I've been wanting to lately write more about the we side of things than just me, complain, everything sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of our whole thing, you know, writing, trying to be the voice for the voiceless.
All right. Why did you pick We the Evil as your single, and can you tell me about the song itself?
We picked We the Evil because it really, it says everything that we are, like, as a band musically now. Like, we've kind of, over the 2 years of touring and opening for all these bands and releasing what we have, we finally, like, morphed into the band sonically that we want to be. You know, like hearing Metallica Kill 'Em All and then hearing Ride the Lightning, you're like, whoa, is this the same band? Because I'm looking at the cover and it says that it is, but it sounds like two different bands. Like, that's kind of the point that we were at, you know, and it took some time. You know, we had to grow our legs and spread our wings and just kind of turn into the band that we were going to be organically. And I think it really speaks in volumes about who the band is now musically, and I was really, really excited about the lyrical side of it, because again, it was, for us, it was, you know, the dark anthem for this new generation. It was like, well, the chorus is, in us, we trust, you can't fight us all. You know, there's like this whole underground cult of fans that we have and things that we're aware of, and it was like I was trying to write a song for them because they're the ones that have put us on the map and really catapulted and launched us. And I was like, you know, this needs to be a song for, like, all the people that have supported us, and then bring it on up to the masses. So that's kind of my thought process behind picking We the Evil as the new single.
Mm-hmm. Revolver Magazine had premiered your new video for that same single. What was it like to have them do that for you, and where did the idea for the video come from?
So it was amazing for them to do that for us. I mean, first of all, it was just like, I was hearing about it to my publicist, and I was like, no way. That's not, yeah, we'll see how that happens. Because I've been through the thing a couple times too, and I was like, yeah, we'll see it when it actually happens, you know? Mm-hmm. And I remember that morning, like, on April 9th, I believe, I had, like, the freshman browser, like, on my iPhone. And all of a sudden, like, it just popped up, and it was like, you're right under Rob Zombie, who, like, one of my faves. And I just, like, clicked that up. But it was, like, way on the front page, or it was also, like, right under Rob Zombie. This was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then it was, it just, it felt great, you know? As it's one of those, like, weird moments where you're like, wow, okay, like, this is really clicking, this is really, really happening. And it was a beautiful thing for us because the concept behind the video, again, was including people that were close, close to me. Like, I pulled in, I have a school of rock and ballad called the Sound Foundation, and we were going to do a radio station contest to have the crowd in the video. And I was like, you know what? To me, I was like, that doesn't really make sense. Jay had brought up the idea of, like, filming the live concept part. And I was like, why get a bunch of strangers in a room when I could get a lot of the students that I teach and not only involve them in the process of, like, the music business so they learn it, like, firsthand in real time, but at the same time, like, share in a moment that, like, I'm about to have. I was like, that's really cool because it's a time capsule, like a memory of, like, oh, remember that? Who was that? So the people in the audience are a mix of, my students and some fans and then close friends. It was just, like, really, really cool because the vibe in the room was real. Like, I remember the cameraman telling us, wow, you can tell, like, everyone in this audience really adores you guys, and you really adore them. Like, the energy in here is great. But, like, it cuts through the screen. They're like, I'm watching this footage just going, like, this is real, and this is awesome, and this is cool. Like, it's not contrived in any way, shape, or form. And so, I guess, between the conceptual part, which was our director, Benny, and J6's idea of, like, having a live audience, it just really kind of put a little extra something into the video. And so when it was at Revolver, we were amazed. Like, we just watched the shares refresh every 5 minutes, go up and up, the tweets, the emails, the Google Plus, the comments. It was just like, dude, this is awesome. And I'm not too proud to say or too cool to be like, yeah, well, I'm used to that. I was like, that's amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing.
Great. It's been a few years since you guys have released an EP or full length, but you've managed to release a series of different singles. Why only do the single route and not release, another EP or full length?
Right. Well, the thing is that the first problem that was in the way was that we kept perpetually having to get back on the road. We would be presented with opportunities that we couldn't say no to. But sure, yeah, of course we'll go on the road. Of course we'll open for Lips in the Coil. Of course we'll open for Black Veil Bride. Of course we'll do this whole thing. It was like, even now still, it's like, sure, we'll go do, one-off Escape the Fate. It was just like, dude, you can't say no to those sorts of opportunities because they're very instrumental in, like, growing our legion and, like, getting in front of the people that have supported us. So that was the first thing that it's always, it has been like that for us since day one, though. It took us 10 months to release Anthems for the Used. I remember the label getting irritated because I hadn't delivered any masters, and it was like, dude, keep getting all these cool tours, though, like, what are we supposed to do? It doesn't make sense to release a record because there's no fans anyways, you know what I mean? So it was like one of those catch-22s, and we just had to kind of just put our heads down and just, keep fighting it until it all worked out, and it did. The second thing is, too, though, is that, unfortunately, the way people consume music these days is just so radically different. And our machine isn't that huge yet that, like, we don't anticipate releasing a 12-song record and somebody buying all of those on iTunes. We've experienced that, like, even with our first LP and with the EP, that people are going to get, there's 5 songs on there, they're going to get 2 or 3. And then the other couple are going to collect digital dust. If they release a 10-song record, they're going to get 6 or 7. Something always gets left in the shuffle, gets lost in the shuffle, or, it's not one of the singles, it's not one of the videos, or they never play it live, or whatever. It's just, or I only have $5 left on my iTunes gift card, so I'm going to order 3 of these songs, or download them because I feel like I get 2 more songs from another band. You know what I mean? Like, people's habits are just different. And so we had to, for for our band, we had to kind of cater to that too, and it was easier for us, though, to release singles and videos at the same time in tandem with one another, because where we were lacking on full-length records, we're actually killing it on videos. You know what I mean? Like, our band has a lot of videos and has a lot of singles, and we were trying something different, too, you know? It was like, hey, we have all these songs. Why don't we just release them sporadically and release a record over time, you know, like one song a month or one song every 6 weeks with an accompanying video. I think that's almost kind of cooler, since people in the internet and YouTube and the .com and Vine and video and just everything, it's like, dude, to me, I'm like, video is more important in some ways than a record at this point in the game, you know? It's like, I'm just going to a CD store and buying a CD. It's just not like that anymore. So am I going to sit here and cry about it? Or am I going to, like, get with the times and maybe even get a few steps ahead, you know? And another thing that, again, me, and, you know, like we spoke about earlier, I don't want to do something if it doesn't feel right. The actual road side of me was like, you know, when it's right and the songs are right, put it out. Because we're not being forced by any big machine right now to crank out any more content. We're not under some sort of, like, contract that we have to kick out, you know, 5 records within 3 years and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, dude, I'll do it when I'm ready to do it. You know what I mean? And I don't think, see, now no one's heard the new material yet. But see, I don't think we would have gotten to the point that we are at now musically if we had to force feed that to people. And I think that would have gone against everything that we were about. You know, oh, we gotta put out a record, oh, we gotta do this, oh, we would have been releasing half-ass songs that were half-hearted to an audience that was wanting it, and they would have been like, thanks, dude, this is all you give us, really. I think a lot more of our fans, however big or small it may be, and it's like, you know, I appreciate their support. That, to me, I don't want to give them something because my timeline and my record cycle says I have to. Like, I'm going to give it to them, and I think it's amazing because it represents them, and they got to stand behind it, right?
Yeah,
but now's the time. I mean, now's the time. The new record is going to be awesome. It's the proudest I've ever been. Cliches that sounds about anything that we've done, but it really is. I mean, it's like a whole nother day. I'm like, I listen to it a lot, and I'm just like, wow. Like, I close my eyes, I can't even really picture us because it's just so dramatically different in a lot of ways.
So in other words, when it comes to, you know, you writing material or releasing material, you just go with the flow, basically.
Yeah. I guess, you know, I mean, I have my own studio. So the thing is, too, it's like when a band goes into the studio to record a record, everything's now themed out. Like, the catalog has to fit, you know, the theme. When I produce a band, it's like, okay, this is a band, this is their style, and you're trying to fit everything within those parameters. But, like, creatively, like, it can be stifling sometimes because you're like, oh, I can't branch out of these parameters that have been set on me because this is what our band is, quote, supposed to sound like. So you weren't able to grow, you know, and that was something that I was kind of experiencing with, like, Murder FM. I was like, we're still a baby band in a lot of ways. Like, we have a million ways to grow, and we're afforded the time to do it. So we should really, like, you know, explore that option, you know, like, and kind of take our band, maybe we want to go this way. Okay, now we're going a little this way, and now, you know, we found our thing, and that's what we did, you know, instead of saying, okay, this new record is called blah, 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 and it's going to have 12 songs on it, and we have to make it all fit. But, great, like, again, it goes back into we're forced to make it be this way, you know, and so already it's contrived. It's not like we're making a movie, dude, you know what I mean? It's like, let the music tell its own story. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go from being the dark rap band that we are on one song to country funk on the next song. You know what I mean? It's like, we're already naturally and stylistically going to have, like, our own parameters. So it's like, at least let the band grow.
Do you guys have any new music in the works? Obviously, yes, right?
Oh yeah, no, we've got the record on deck, and I have never been so excited. One of my favorite songs is called "Lethal Lovers."
Mm-hmm.
Just lyrically, like guitar riff wise, like I'm psyched on myself. I'm like, God, I can't believe I came up with that. It's like so cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really, really cool. And what we're probably going to do in a perfect world is release the record. But to thank everyone for waiting, a lot of those singles are going to be remixed and like redone too. So on the CD, you're going to have 10 new songs, plus all the singles that we've done, like redone, plus like industrial remixes of like stuff I'm doing or stuff with DJs on top of like DVD package. So this release is actually going to end up being like a big, super cool thing, which I'm really excited about, and that's what I feel that like fans deserve. You know, not just another piece of plastic wrapped in shrink wrap going, here's the 10 songs I'm supposed to deliver to you because my contract says so. It's like, you know, bringing everyone up to speed sonically where the band is at, having that mesh with all the new material, plus, you know, DVD stuff and video stuff and tour footage. I mean, if everything goes the way that we want it to go, that's what's going to end up happening. So it'll be like the Gnar deluxe version.
So in other words, it'll be like a big murder box of stuff.
You know what? Maybe we should release it with like, I don't know, maybe like a coffin, like a serial killer's kit or something. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Like little, what's that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Right? Yeah, you're onto something there, Natalie. I like that. Release it like Dexter has his little bag of killing tools, you know what I mean? Release it in one of those or something. It comes with like duct tape and like a knife or something. And some candles.
So tell me about this new rock music school you just started up. What made you want to create this type of institute? And what makes it a rock music school?
Right? Because it rocks. What made me, I've always had, like, since my little brother and I are 7 years apart, I'd always had a thing for, like, showing kids stuff. And, like my friends and I would go skateboard, and I would take my brother with me, you know, so we'd all be 12, and he'd be 5, and we'd be like, oh, dude, my brother's so awesome, check him out, like, you know, I'd teach him guitar stuff, they'd be like, oh, dude, your brother's so awesome, he's like 6, and he's like ripping on guitar, it's so cool, you know, and then all my little cousins, because I was the older one, showing them stuff, and then watching my friends, because I didn't have an older brother, but all my friends had older brothers and sisters, so it was like, you know, I kind of always had, like, this side to me of wanting to, like, big brother a lot of things and show people stuff and, you know, just share, like, in things. And I hate that old saying of, like, those that can't teach, teach. Because I'm like, really? Because I'm doing it and I'm teaching it. Like, these kids are learning from me, like, in real time. Like, I'm walking off a plane, well, I was just in a bus in Europe doing a sold-out headline show in London, and 2 days later, I'm in here teaching them stuff about their own bands. Like, that would be amazing to me. You know what I mean? Like, if I was 13 and 14, and my guitar teacher was Slash in Guns N' Roses, and he's like, hey, I missed your lesson this week, I'm going to Metallica, but I'll see you next week, and I'll tell you all about it. Like, that would be amazing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it means about Slash and the Guns N' Roses. I just mean, like, the effect that it has is huge, you know? And I'd always looked for people and places, and it was just like, dude, I'm tired of, like, having to, like, live in oppression and do things, as you'll get to know me, Natalie. I'm not really into having to follow orders, in case you haven't figured that out yet. I'm not the kind of guy that you just tell what to do, and I was like, okay, thanks, dude. And so I wanted to kind of really, you know, go into my own thing. It's like the school is all black and white. Like, we have a rehearsal room with drum isolation booths, and they're set up to record live so that the bands can hear themselves, and we can sit around and have band meetings and critiques. I have lesson rooms. It's also a lot morphed into a live music venue. They have a stage built with drum isolation panels, full of lighting, 1600-watt PA, mixing board, lights, sound machines. I mean, this is where they can play like they're at a club, and they can play for their friends, because we're in the heart of Bellum, which is the entertainment district in Dallas. The thing is, a lot of these kids are 15 and 16 in bands, and they can get shows at clubs, but none of their friends can go, so that's kind of a bummer. Mm-hmm. So it's like, we can have all ages shows, we have backstage, they all have their little artist lab, and it's like, it's a beautiful thing, because they're getting to experience things the way that we experience them, but in somewhat of a controlled environment, so that it's still, it's safe, and it's cool, and it's, the parents can leave them here and let them do their thing on a Friday night, and they know that it's cool. And then I always bring in, like, my friends and other bands to, like, come guest speak, or they give us stuff. Like the guys on Gemini Syndrome down Warner Brothers on tour with David Draymond's Device. Mm-hmm. They come in and give stuff. I've got, friends that want to come in and do more guest speaking. Up to me, because with Cold Chamber, they're coming through town. The Seven Dust, or he wants to come do something, and I'm trying to supply them with things that, like, they wouldn't normally get to, because I had stuffy, boring guitar lessons. Mm-hmm. It was no fun. You know what I mean? And it was like, I always wanted to have a place to play with my bands when I was in high school, and I couldn't do it. But we had to, like, play in backyards and stuff, and that's cool. But, having a stage with a drum riser and a 1600-watt PA on a Friday night, that's pretty awesome, too. And I've spent a lot of money on a lot of things that, like, maybe we didn't necessarily need them, but I wanted them. Because I wanted the kids to, like, experience something. And so I have, like, 7 full-time bands. 5 of those, are the original bands. Mm-hmm. And they're all working towards something. I've got The Never Ending, which has got a female bassist who's actually one of my, like, interns, and she just went on the road with us with Murder FM. I mean, that's amazing. Female vocalist. Got the all-girl band, The Bombs. Got another female-fronted band, Blind Corporation, the girl drummer. I mean, it's empowering everybody, whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're young, whether you're older, it doesn't matter. I've got my own little rendition of the Blue Man Group, or the Blue Boy Group. There's little drummers. We've got Peer Pressure, 11 Girls, Vanna Red. I mean, they're like a power trio. Those dudes are awesome. I mean, it's really cool, because we built these bands into their own little, like, machines, They've got their websites, they've got their Facebook pages, they're blowing up their Twitters, they're all over, like, 500 likes on Facebook. We're learning about social media, we're learning about recording, we're learning about photo shoots, like, we're learning about everything that comes along with it, other than just being like, I want to play guitar, or I want to play drums, or I want to whatever. And that's what Sound Foundation rocks, because I'm showing them everything, and I'm showing it to them even as I learn it. So it's like, they're not getting outdated information from, well, back in my day, it's more like, so, an hour ago, I just figured this out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's really cool, and I'm able to share a lot of my experiences, like, as our band is growing with them, like I said, being in the video, going on the road with us, watching our shows from the side of the stage, lingering around backstage, running the place like they own it, having their own shows here. It's a beautiful thing. Like, and I'm blessed that I'm able to be able to do it at the level that we do it at.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, we even got an awesome, like, tribute to Motley Crue that we play. I play bass in. I get on stage and jam with those dudes. No Regrets does, like, 80s and 90s covers. I mean, it's awesome, dude. It's really, really cool. And you can't tell me when you were 15 that you would think that was, like, the coolest thing ever, too, I'm breeding future rock stars.
Aside from Murder FM being a part of your life, do you have any other side projects going on? And if you do, would you ever consider having a show or a tour or a concert or what have you, and bringing all of those projects and Murder FM together for one mega event? That would be cool.
Really, you think? I think, we've often toyed with that idea. Singing for another band out of Huntington Beach called Valor and Vengeance. We've been, doing our thing, and it's a cool one for me because I'm able to be like, the Axl Rose in that one. I put the guitar down, like I just get to be a front man and just do my thing, pretend I'm Bruce Dickinson, and just like wail away. And it's Paul Perry's baby in that band, our bassist. Like that's his vision, that's his thing. So it's stress free for me in that sense because I write songs with them, and I write the lyrics and stuff and form the melodies, but it's a different kind of responsibility because it's someone else's vision, and I'm just throwing my 2 cents in the pot, whereas with Murder FM, it's like I live with it 24/7, like I'm constantly like, it is me, you know what I mean? It's like back in the 90s, Trent Reznor had, what was it, Pigface? It's like a side project, and then had 9 Inch Nails, and Pigface like had all these all-stars in the band. It was amazing, but it was still like 9 Inch Nails was like his thing. And I mean, I'm always involved with some sort of project. I'm always playing guitar on somebody's record, or remixing something, or doing a guest vocal, or coming to play drums, or playing bass live, filling in for the band. And it's like, you know what? I would love to have a whole tour where I just was on stage all night switching up stuff. It'd be pretty exhausting, but I think it'd be really awesome. And I got another one in the works, so yeah. Definitely, I keep myself way more busy than I should.
You have been doing, shows here and there on and off, but when will we be seeing you guys doing a full tour or being a part of a tour or something like that? More shows.
Yeah, well, no, definitely. I mean, and that's something that's just been needed. It needs to work in tandem with our releases and our plans and our everything, and we needed to know that there was an audience out there that wanted what Murder FM was doing, and it's very evident now that there is. So in May, we're going to be doing like a Texas headline run. But speaking of future stuff, nothing I can divulge yet, but it is in the works, and we will be on the road quite a bit. So everyone better get their evil ready, because we're coming for you.
Great.
You asked for it, so you better be ready.
Aside from that and everything else we've talked about, what other plans do you guys have overall for this year?
It's just going to be release the record, tour, and hopefully not have to, backpedal on things. Like, hopefully all the plans go accordingly. You know what I mean? Too many times it's been, like I said, we're going to release the record, wait, we've got to go do these shows. Oh, wait, we got to go do these shows. Hopefully we can spend the time that we need to just to wrap up the record with the production team that we want, and then release that, and then just push that for the next, year, or however long we can to do that. And then in the interim, writing new material to release yet another one. And I mean, I just hard drive full of material. I just don't have time that we need to, or that it even, requires to just kind of sit there and get in the vibe and, bring those songs to life, because I'm very weird when I work on music. I have to really connect to it. And when I connect to it, you can't stop me. But when I'm not connected to it, it's just like, whatever. It drives my manager mate crazy. Because I have to have a reason. He's like, we need new material. I'm like, for what? Are we releasing the record yet? What's going on? Well, we're working on it. Well, when that's worked out, you let me know, and it'll be done. But until then, you know what I mean? I'm going to produce this band, or I'm going to help the kids with this, or I'm going to do this, and it's just the kind of dude I am. I like being put on the spot, because that's when I can deliver. If you leave me to my own devices, I am going to totally just go wherever the moment takes me. So, yeah, the plans are lots of touring, and releasing a new record, and more videos.
Is there anything more you would like to say or add to the fans out there?
Is it a trick question? Because I always have something to say. I would just like to thank anyone that's reading this, if it's for the first time, or listening to it, or watching it, or however this is going to get put out there. Thank you if you're becoming a first-time fan. For any of you that have got to this interview, because you are already a fan, I cannot thank you enough. You have really catapulted our band and hung in there and just changed our lives and put us on a whole new level. And we owe it to you to go out there and kill it and present you well, because we work for you. And I completely 110,000% appreciate it.
And is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.